where you think we're going a bit too far? The Senate investigation is going a bit too far.
Yeah, I don't think you should say that I'm giving a different voice. I think many of my comments are echoed among many of my friends, no, na bakit lumihis yung investigasyon sa Senado. I mean, it started with an investigation with Pogo, which we really welcome. I was a resource person in many hearings in the Senate where I asked that we should really totally ban Pogo. But now, naging zarzuela. I mean, it's very irritating to see our senator with so many national problems going below decency and digging out dirt, digging out about boyfriend, ng kasambahay, and all these things.
Tessie, tingin mo kailan nangyari yung ganong klaseng paglihis? At sino yung concern dun sa ganong klaseng paglihis? When was that moment?
Sorry, Ronald, hindi kasi ako nag-follow talaga. Huli na nung nag-follow ako, it was already towards the end when they were talking about the citizenship, about kasambahay, news about her lifestyle, and all this tearjerker, mga drama and zarzuela, ang tawag ko dyan, ano? Deliberate ba, nalilihis? I do not know, no? But I'm concerned because suddenly the Pogo disappeared from the investigation. Suddenly it went into talking about her lifestyle and then asking her to speak in Mandarin and in Hokkien. What for? Matata siya magtagalog. Ang galing ng Tagalog niya, ng Filipino niya. But you are questioning if she is Filipino or not. Ngayon, pinagsalita ninyo ng Hokkien at Mandarin. Kung matata siya mag-Hokkien at Mandarin, sasabihin ko, conclude ba ninyo na Chinese siya? Well, my comment there is that she speaks Mandarin and Hokkien with a very local intonation. Local sa aming Chinoy, no? Hindi yan China accent. But do I conclude na hindi siya galing sa China? No, I cannot conclude that. But it's ridiculous to be asking this kind of questions. Ronald and Patrick, you speak English very well, but I cannot conclude that you are Americans. So these are the things that I really don't like. What I'm seeing in Senate investigations like this.
Tama yung sabi mo, Tessie, no? Delikado na baka mag-deteriorate into in Sinophobia. Pero di ba nakatulong din si Mayor Guo na buhusan ng gasolina yung apoy? Di ba yung kanyang mga sagot or non-question or non-answer ay nakatulong din na mag-deteriorate yung investigation? Yung kanyang interviews about yung kanyang telenovela na buhay. Di ba nakadagdag yan yung binabanggit mo?
Yes.
Oo.
Kasi pinakita yung masalimuot na buhay ni Alice Guo, no? Kaya nga, sabi ko, bakit hindi i-focus mo investigation which government agency is empowering these things to happen, no? Nangyari na. Tapos nakakatawa, sabi daw ng PSA at ano pa yun, yung local registrar, hihigpitan ang pagkuha ng birth certificate at yung mga NSO. Isa si Alice Guo, nagkamali kayo, kung sino man na nagkamali, binigyan ninyo ng ganyang klaseng registration. And now you want to penalize the big majority for your failure in one, or let's say, sabihin na 10 ang nagkamali kayo, tapos bigla ipe-penalize ninyo, no? It's difficult enough to get PSO and PSA pa, di ba? PSA and birth certificates and everything, and to have it changed. Kwento ko sa inyo, yung kuya ko, mag-80 years old na yan, pinanganak yan wartime. Hanggang ngayon, despite so many efforts to change his year of birth, hindi mapalitan. Kaya itong huli, since he had to apply for a passport, sabi ko, gamitin mo na lang yung mali. Hindi bali na, huwag na nating i-correct. Tayo naman lang na nakakaalam because ipinanganak siya December 1944, tapos March 1945, in 4 months ipinanganak yung sister ko. Sabi ko, mali talaga, but he was not able to correct it because it's very difficult. Now what I'm saying is, which government agency made the mistake, empowered her to have it easy and have her late registration and everything, no? Bakit hindi doon naka-focus, no? Ang focus ninyo ngayon, eto na nga, yung masalimuot na buhay ni Alice Guo.
Ms. Ang-See, itong investigation kay Alice Guo, it comes on the heels of the investigation as well on Chinese students in Cagayan. And you also spoke out about that issue. Are you feeling a growing sense of Sinophobia in the Philippines?
Not just Sinophobia, I think it is a deliberate anti-China and anti-Chinese narrative, no, that is being peddled on the public, on the unknowing public. Mga students daw as spies. Sa Pilipinas, kahit nga first family, walang maitago na sekreto. Anong espiya ang gagawin nila doon sa sinasabi nila EDCA site? Ikaw nga, Ami, tsaka ako, kung papasok doon, makakapasok tayo ng ganun lang. And then students, ang kawawa doon, you penalize the students who are graduating, who studied in a very, very good school, ISO certified ang St. Paul University. But the PhD students who are about to graduate are lamenting, nakausap ko yan. They are lamenting, nasiraan ang school nila, anong mangyayari sa title nila kahit mag-graduate na sila ng PhD na ginapang nila for 5 years. And then just to be shut down, saying that their school is accepting this kind of students. The head of the Foreign Student Council is from India. The treasurer is from the United States. There were Koreans, there are Indians, there are Pakistani in that school. Hindi naman Chinese lang. Mas marami lang ang Chinese. Kasi yan ang school na masipag and went to sell the student enrollment, foreign student enrollment in China. And then, pinakita nila na ISO certified sila, magandang programa nila. I talked with the PhD student in China, tinawagan ako. Sabi niya, I go to the university school 3 times a year, no, just to face my panel kung merong i-present na paper, correction sa dissertation, and these things, no. So he said, does it mean that my name appeared 3 times? So naging 3 yung foreign student na Chinese, no? Because I went there 3 times this year. So bakit hindi pag-aralan? Tulad ng tanong ni Ronald kanina, bakit hindi muna mag-research? Ang laki ng budget ng Senate, bakit hindi muna kaninyo ini-research? Ano ba ang nangyari? Bakit kailangan ibunyag sa publiko yung masalimuot na buhay ni Alice Guo at na-divert ngayon, naging parang Sinophobia, racism, anti-Chinese narrative. Meron pa nga akong nakita, mainstream media yan, TV, ang sabi daw, kita mo yung mga bar top-notcher, mga bar and board top-notcher, panay mga monosyllabic surname, kasi maraming Chinese students dito. Hindi ka nag-research muna, you cannot take board exam or bar exam, you're not a Filipino citizen. Kaya nga na-ban, bakit merchant community ang Chinoy community? Because the professionals are banned from taking board exam, teacher's exam, bar exam, if you are not Filipino citizen. So, nag-iiba yung narrative eh. Yung summa cum laude natin ngayon sa Yale, no? Graduate sa Pilipinas, napakagaling. And then you are bashing na hindi naman siya Pilipino. Hindi ba dati lagi natin hini-headline, Math Olympiad, wizards, math wizards, panay Chinoy yan. But we claim them as Filipino. We claim them as an honor for the Philippines. Bakit ngayon, summa cum laude ng Ivy League University, kukwestiyonin mo ang na hindi siya Pilipino? Hindi nga marunong mag-Chinese na matatas yan? Now, people like me, we were born here, we grew up here. Si Alice Guo, kung Pilipino siya at i-deport mo sa China, sino kukukup dyan? Kung talagang dito siya, I'm not saying na mali yung mga investigation. sana mag-research muna sila, pag-aralan muna sila kaysa ibandera nila. Bakit? Dahil mag-e-eleksyon na naman yata, no? Pero hindi naman yata kasama Senate sa election. But all of these things really are very irritating because we have many, many national problems that we should be addressing.
Ms. Ang-See, geopolitics aside, I mean, help us understand for those of us in faraway Manila, and we're far from Cagayan, we don't know what's happening on the ground, we're far from Bamban, Tarlac, we don't really know what's happening on the ground. So for us, the geopolitics aside, help us understand why there seems to be a proliferation, for example, of a Pogo facility or Chinese facility in a small town like Bamban.
When Xi Jinping came for the first state visit of the China president here in 2016, number 4 in his agenda is to discuss with President Duterte about total banning of Pogo because China is suffering a lot from all of this Pogo because of capital flight, because of money laundering, because it gives a very bad image because of the association of Pogos with human trafficking and all these problems. Number 4 sa agenda yan, but it was immediately shut down because they said the Philippines cannot do it because we earn a lot from the Pogo business and our real estate will suffer and all these things. No? In the Senate hearing, I said no. If we ban Pogo and totally close down Pogo, investments there, no? People like to go to Pogo because it's easy money, madaling pagkakitaan. Sabi ko, yung pera na earmark for Pogo will go to more productive enterprises that we need, that our Filipino workers need, no? Magtayo sila ng small manufacturing, let's say in Cagayan, no? In Tarlac and Bamban, Tarlac. Build small manufacturing concerns, then you hire even more Filipinos so that they don't need to go abroad, no? And we depend on remittances. Kaya nakakatakot talaga kasi meron tayong problema, nag-create tayo ng mas malaking problema para isolve yung mga problema.
Okay, so Ms. Ang-See, you're saying that this is not geopolitics, this is simply economics.
I think they're conflating the geopolitics with all of these local domestic problems. No, it's not just that. It's not as simple as that. Parang yung narrative talaga is going towards anti-China. Fortunately, no, up to now, kasi tinanong din ako tungkol dyan sa the Chinoys do not really suffer from all of these things. Ang buti naman, when we coined the term Chinoy to mean Chinong Pinoy, Pinoy in identity, but racially Chinese in origins and racial Chinese ang heritage, when we coined it, it's precisely because we want to separate, pag sinabi mo kasing Chinese Pogo, Chinese na crime, ganon, from the local Chinoy. It's not being divisive, no? It's parang practicality na use Chinoy, Chinong Pinoy, to refer to the locals. So parang hindi sila damay-damay dito sa mga nangyayari ngayon, no? So si Alice Guo, Chinoy ba siya? Mukha, no? Mukhang Chinoy siya kasi her Hokkien and her Mandarin speaking accent is very local. Hindi siya imported na Chinese, no? We can understand that. But siyempre, as I said, no, hindi naman pwedeng i-conclude na ganyan. Like ngayon nga, matata siyang mag-Filipino, pero ayaw nating i-conclude na Filipino rin siya, no? So, despite her insistence. So, yun yung mga, siguro, hindi ko rin maintindihan, bakit nangyayari itong mga anti-Chinese narratives na like the students, like ito na nga, no, like, yung mga human trafficking ng mga Pogo, hindi lang human trafficking, yung mga ibang crimes like kidnapping, meron kaming hinaharap ngayon sa korte, 2, no, na cases of kidnapping ng hindi naman kasi Pogo worker, pero nadamay-damay at na-kidnap din, ano? And these things are happening. So siguro panawagan na rin na i-focus ninyo sa total ban sa Pogo. At marami tayong problema na masosolve with that.
Okay.
Miss Ang-See, I know that you've written about it, pero pakiulit na lang yung tingin nyo. Kasi ang direksyon ng Senate investigation, may suspicion nga daw kasi na yung Pogo yung ibang Pogo ang ginagamit for spying ng Beijing. What do you think of that theory?
Beijing doesn't need these Pogo workers. Hindi nga sila nakakalabas, no? How do you say that they can spy, no? So are we admitting that our firewalls, our cyber and parang tsaka ano yung i-spyan nila? Hindi ko maintindihan. How can Pogo na hirap na nga sila because they work, I think, 12 to 15 hours a day. So saan pa sila magkakaroon ng time to spy on what? Everything is an open book. Kung ilan ang binili nating armas, kung anong binili nating yung new battleship and everything is on the media. Parang ano pang i-spy mo? At sa Pilipinas, wala namang sekreto na dapat mo pang i-spy. No? Anong mga intelligence information ang sinasabi mong kailangan kunin ng Pogo? It showed that you really have a failure of intelligence. Yung mga nagsasabi ng ganyan. May sarili silang failure of their own intelligence.
Ginagamit daw for hacking, yung to hack government agency websites. Yun ang suspicion lang naman. What do you think of that?
Then address it, no? In fact, siguro it's time to really work very closely with China to stop all of these kinds of hacking, because China itself is also suffering from things like this hacking problems nangyari, mga AI na cloning and everything, no? That's why I said you don't solve a problem by creating an even bigger problem. China is very interested to work with us closely on how to safeguard cybercrime. Anong mapapala ng China na maghahack sila, ang government nila maghahack saan? Anong intelligence na makukuha ng China from us? No? Beijing doesn't need to do that because there are no secrets. Lahat naman nasa media, lahat ng marites na kailangan makukuha nila kung gusto nila, that they don't have to use this kind of hacking. So who are doing this hacking? These are criminals. And we are showing them that by diverting attention to our real problems and saying na iba yung naghahack, hindi natin masosolve yung problema natin. So we work closely with them. They have offered to work closely with us to identify saan ba nangyagaling itong mga hacking na yan and how do we close our back doors to prevent this kind of hacking. No? Siguro, yan yung pag-isipan natin kasi nakakatawa that even our experts doon sa cyber nung nagpa-interview, sinabi, walang kakayahan, mga ganon. Diyan pa lang, in public, sinabi mo na wala kang kakayahan to address itong mga complicated na problems, no? So, anong sekreto ang gusto mong i-mine ng mga outsiders? No? Kung ikaw mismo, nag-a-admit ka na ang mga local agencies natin walang capacity. Eh di, yung mga enterprising diyan, sila nga siguro ang mag-a-attempt, no? Kasi sinabi mo na wala silang kakayahan.
Ms. Ang-See, you know, when we saw a rise of Korean students in the Philippines, it was explained that the Koreans were here to study English. And I think partly also it was an effect of the 1997 financial crisis when a lot of Koreans, times were hard in Korea, so they went to countries like the Philippines, for example. Now, we're seeing supposedly a noticeable rise in the number of Chinese students, specifically in Cagayan. Do we know what is driving them to enroll here in the Philippines? What are the factors? Is it like economic hardship, for example? We're reading or hearing about tough times in China, for example, could that be a factor?
Yeah, I asked the few students that I talked to, no, when these things happened, I asked for permission kasi to get contacts of some of the students. And why did you choose the Philippines? Number one, it's easier because it's very, very tough to get into universities in China. No? They encourage you to go more into technology and instead of going to a 5-year engineering college in school, then you go directly to VocTech instead of going to college. And these people are like our Filipinos who want to seek greener pastures abroad, no? So they need a university degree. So they come here, number one, it's much cheaper, sabi nila, it's much cheaper. Number two, it's very near China. Number three, they learn English as a bonus. Number four, it's easier to get into the universities. These are universities that welcome foreign students because of economics. In Davao, the top universities there have a lot of Indian students studying medicine here. Dapat nga may premium yan kasi they study medicine tapos hindi naman dito sila magpa-practice. Dapat when we accept foreign students to study medicine, we should hold them captive for 2 years. Mag-service muna kayo ng 2 taon dito bago kayo umuwi sa inyong bayan, no? But nobody's questioning them. Bakit ang daming Indian students diyan sa Davao, no? And these are allowed kasi yung mga enterprising na universities, they earn a lot from the foreign exchange that these students bring in, from the tuition, and then tayo sa Pilipinas, we also benefit a lot from the people-to-people exchanges, no? Yung mutual learning, mutual enhancement, learning our cultural heritage, learning our history from these foreign students.
Okay, Ronald?
Well, I agree, Tessie, no, na yung Pogo is not a very efficient way para sa espionage or hacking. Kung mag-hack ang China, pwede nilang gawin yan from the mainland. Hindi kinakailangan
they don't need to come here.
Hindi kinakailangan
ka dito, gagastos ka pa ng board and lodging.
Hindi kinakailangan yung Pogo. Pero meron tayong ilang mga officials. Halimbawa, isang former secretary ng DILG, dinidikit itong Pogo sa PLA daw. Libo-libo na yung nakapasok. No? Medyo binanatan ko rin siya nung sinabi niya yan. Dahil nga, delikado yan. Pwedeng pumunta yan sa Sinophobia. Pero yung espionage kasi, dapat ang ipapasok mo espiya, yung hindi mahalata. Bakit mo ipapasok dun sa napaka-limited na aspect ng Pogo at saka gwardyado yung mga yan? Kumpiskado ang mga passport nan Kaya medyo bagong slave labor nga ang tawag dyan.
They should be able to mingle. Parang ganon.
Yes. At saka hindi halata, no? Kaya pero ang kwan kasi, the elephant in the room, lahat ito nangyayari within the bigger context of the West Philippine Sea, of the South China Sea, no? Kaya nabubuhusan ito Kaya halimbawa, yung statement na ban ng fishing in large parts of the West Philippine Sea for at least 4 months, nakakadagdag yan. Yung statement na huhulihin yung mga pupunta dyan without warrant at dadalhin sa China, nakakadagdag yan, no? So, ganun yung kulang na tayo sa oras para pag-usapan yan. Ang away naman dito, hindi naman yung sinasabi mo, Tessie, na Chinese people versus Filipino people. Parehas tayong tumutulong para mag-lead ng mga delegations nitong past few years para mas magkakilala. Mas ang away dito, yung dynamics dito sa geopolitical aspect ng ating West Philippine Sea at saka South China Sea na baka kulang tayo sa oras na mapag-usapan ngayon. No? Yun yung nagdadagdag dito na sabi mo nga, medyo unfair, meron bordering on Sinophobia, pero gusto nating i-emphasize, hindi ito away between the Filipino people and the Chinese people. Baka away ito between governments. No? Mas yun yung dahilan. At panghuli lang, baka, ilbawa, ikaw Tessie, kung ikaw ay nasa Senate investigation, makakasagot ka na maayos dun sa mga tanong sa'yo. Hindi madadivert yung usapin. Ang problema minsan dito kay Mayor Guo, kaya nadadivert ay dahil din sa kanyang mga sagot. yung hindi maayos na sagot. Kaya yun din yung isang context dito. Hindi lang to problema ng Senate, problema rin ito nung kinakausap nila, nung iniimbestigahan.
So, you want to react to that, Tessie?
Well, I agree completely with what Ronald is talking about, no? Kaya siguro wake-up call na rin na mag-research muna, mag-background check na muna sila bago nila harapin yung i-interviewin nila para hindi mag-divert at ma-distract kasi tayo. Tayo, maski tayo nag-distract. And I agree that we have to intensify people-to-people exchanges so that we can always do better. No? The ties that bind China and the Philippines together should be much stronger than the issues that divide us. No? Kaya siguro yan na i-emphasize natin para hindi lahat yung negative lang ang nakikita natin at hindi natin nakikita yung mga positive.